greet you all in the wonderful name of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I would like to acknowledge our pastor and his wife in their absence this morning. And I want to thank Pastor also for entrusting us to share this pulpit with him. It's not an easy task, but when the father of the house speaks, you say yes. When the father of the house says it's time for you to minister, you say, Lord, here I am, send me. And I'm standing in front of you this morning as humble as can be to give you the word, a word that have changed so many times this week. The title of the message for today is, It's Rightfully Yours. It's amazing how the Holy Spirit works, because I had a chat with Elder Riva, and there was a reason why he had to preach first and I had to follow after him. Because after his word last week, I also had to first deal with Carol before I could come here this morning. I'm going to reveal one of the secrets that some of you guys will say, wow, not that one. I don't know how to trust people. I don't trust anything that comes out of anyone's mouth. I second doubt everything people say. And even when something good happens to me, I even question the good because I feel I don't deserve it. I get to a point that sometimes even when I look at my kids, as pure as their love is, as pure as their hearts are towards me, I even question God if I deserve my children. And this is not because I want to. It is not because, it's all because of the fact that I don't believe that it's rightfully mine. It's all because of the stigma that you grow up with to say, and I know I'm speaking to people in this house this morning where you grow up and they can tell you, you are such a useless. You don't deserve to be loved. May my mother's soul rest in peace, but I remember the day my mother, when I told my mom, before my late husband went and asked them my hand in marriage, my mom told me that I can never get married. Because how is it possible that someone can marry me and take me away from her? That marriage is not going to last. Within my first year of marriage, I already ran to the divorce court because I believed what my mother said. It took me almost 5 years to realize that I deserve to be loved. I deserve a good husband. I deserve a good family. I deserve a good children. So sometimes if I stand on the stage or testify and I testify about my children, it's because I had to go through the healing process of realizing that I deserve them. This word is going to be a lot of tears for myself because, like I said, it was really, besides dealing with it, it was also my healing process while preparing the word. We all know the story of Jacob and Esau. They were twins, right? And there was prophecies that was given since Isaac's days, that the seed, which is Jesus, will be born from their generation. So every time a woman falls pregnant, they were wishing maybe I'm the one that is carrying the seed. Maybe from my womb, the seed will come that will be the savior to the earth. So we all know that in even today's generation, we have different classes and types of people and families. If you can go to a certain area, the moment they say the Adams family, everyone knows the Adams family, even if they never met you. Because you are linked to a surname that is carrying more weight in the community than anyone else. And another person will say, oh, the Roberts family. Ooh, that family, stay away from them. So you are put into classes based on what people know. And exactly the same happened with Jacob. So while Jacob was trying to find himself after his mom gave birth to him, Jacob found himself in a position of constantly running and running and running. Running away from his purpose, running away from his pain, running away from his brother that even wanted to kill him. And yet, Jacob was fighting something that he didn't even know started in the womb. His fights with his twin brother started when the mother was still pregnant. There was a time when Isaac looked at his wife and he felt so much pain for her because in his mind this woman went through so much agony. And he asked her, what's wrong? He said, no, these children, the way they're fighting, I don't know what's happening, but I'm in pain physically of what is happening inside my womb. Let's read Genesis 25 from verse 21 to 24. I will depend on this wording because it's bigger than this wording. It says, Isaac prayed to the Lord on behalf of his wife because she was childless. The Lord answered his prayer and his wife Rebekah became pregnant. The babies jostled each other within her. And she said, why is this happening to me? So she went to inquire to the Lord. The Lord said to her, 2 nations. I want you guys to look at the wording of these scriptures. 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples from within you will be separated. One people will be stronger than the other, and the older will serve the younger. I want you to remember the last part of this verse. The older will serve the younger. When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb. The first to come out was red, and his whole body was like a hairy garment. So they named him Esau. After this, his brother came out with his hand grasping the heel of Esau, the brother. So he was named Jacob. Isaac was 60 years old when Rebekah gave birth to them. We will wait there, Sister Semi. So I want us to look at this verse, right? There's a reason Jacob's name means con man. So he's been conning his brother while they were still in the womb. And when they were born, he was even still fighting because he wanted to pull Esau back because he wanted to come out first. But the order didn't happen that way. Esau was born first, he was born second. But what is very significant in the verse, it says the younger will serve, the older will serve the younger. No, other way around. What am I saying? Yes. So, in any generation then and now, what is the norm? The older person normally gets the blessings. If you are in a family, whether you're the eldest girl or the eldest son, when the parents pass away, it's common sense, even if there's no will, the older one will get the house, or the older one will get the car, or the older one will be in charge of the inheritance and then share it or split it amongst each other. But already then, in the womb, God showed them, I don't do things the way people does. My order is not the same order as yours. I'm going to change this order, and there will be so much confusion, but in the confusion, there's a blessing. There's a prophecy that is given to Rebecca and Isaac while Rebecca is still pregnant. Something that is also very profound about this birth of the twins. Isaac was born from a childless woman. She struggled for years to fall pregnant. And yet, when the prophecy was given that you will be father of many nations, this guy was asked to sacrifice this boy. Again, God's order doesn't align with the way people's mindsets are. His order works out. There's a word in Afrikaans that says, God werk verkeerd om reg om. So, what that means is, in your eyes, whatever God is doing right now is all wrong. But the wrong that you see is actually the right, because God is trying to restore order. How many of you are sitting here today? You've received prophecies years ago, but you are not even loving an inch of the prophecy that was given to you, because you don't believe it's rightfully yours. You don't believe that anything good can happen to you the same way that Carol used to believe. So, with all of this, Esau still became the favorite son. They made sure that he knew, and he was so full of himself, because I know, I'm the eldest, I'm getting the blessings, I'm the favorite. In your family, growing up, you were always the one that have to be, I say, as Pustertjie sounds better than Cinderella. Cinderella sounds too fancy in English, because Cinderella just give that Cinderella look. But what Cinderella actually means is that girl was the one that had to do all the dirty work while everyone else is taking the glory. How many times do we do something at work and we don't get the recognition for it? How many times do you know for a fact when this post is vacant, it's mine, and you don't get appointed? Like I said, this word is Carol's word as much as I'm giving it to you guys, because I'm living in all of this that I'm talking about at this moment, even way back from childhood. While in hospital last year, I received a promotion. Because I was in an induced coma, I couldn't sign my appointment letter. The position was given to someone else. I'm teaching that person my work because the person don't have a clue. My question still, or my struggle with God, is what do I have to learn out of this, because it's so difficult. But I'm pushing. How many times did you grow up with a cousin or niece or sister that have better hair than you? And the first thing they can tell you, ooh, kruskop. Because your hair is not as straight as the cousin. Your skin color is not as fair. Oh, don't let puberty hit, guys, and you look like a pineapple. The pimples is just doing its own thing in your face, and you must hear it every day. I am so obsessed with my hair, because even though I had the green eyes and the fair skin, my hair wasn't as straight as the others. It wasn't bad hair, but because they've put it into my mind that you are the kruskop of this family. My escape in all of that was academics. If I can come first in the class, maybe they will see me. Maybe I will get a compliment to say, well done. But it never happened. I sometimes look at myself today, and I told my kids the other day, Letitia was laughing with them because I said, hopefully by the time I'm done with my master's, I will stop studying. And Carriston say, oh, that's a big maybe, hopefully. I went as far to say that I think I might stop when I have my doctorate. But the reason for that was validation. I'm going back to my birthplace this Easter weekend for the first time in 10 years. But I am so nervous because I don't know if they will accept me for who I am, if I will be good enough, or whether my children will be good enough for what we have achieved. So the fight just continues. The struggle just goes on and on. And the question is, when will it all end? So the same way that Brother Riva said last week, I'm saying this because I want you guys to hold me accountable. When I get into that mode of doubting myself, I want someone to tell me you are worth it. I need someone to tell me you are good enough, or you are a good mother. You are not what they say you are. Jacob decided his life is over. So what does he do? He runs to the mountain. When I decided to run, I ran to Gauteng, all the way from the Eastern Cape to another province. Gauteng became my mountain. But at this mountain, I had to decide whether I'm doing it for me or whether I'm going to do it for someone else. But see how history is repeating itself, because now going home, I need to go and face what I left behind. Even though I left the Eastern Cape at a very young age when I was still in primary school. There is certain promises in the word and prophecies in the word that was given to us many years ago. The question is, how do you tap into it to realize that it's rightfully yours? I want us to read Joshua 24, verse 13 to 15. So I give you a land on which you did not toil. A land. You didn't work for this land, but I'm giving it to you. Cities you did not build. And you live in them and eat from vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant. If you guys know, olives are very, very expensive, very rare. The oil, some of us, also because of how we grew up, don't believe that I can use anything else but olive oil or canola oil because of the stigma. If you can't have a good glass of wine, then you don't drink the wine because of the stigma. But the Bible says that vineyards that you didn't plant, olive groves that you didn't plant, you will bear the fruit of those. And then Matthew 19, verse 30. Sorry, Sister Semi, I didn't give you that verse. But Matthew 19, verse 30 say, you are the head and not the tail. The first will be last and the last will be first. So if you take those two prophecies, and the reason why I took a verse in the Old Testament and the New Testament is because God's order didn't change. God didn't change the prophecy or the word that was given to you, whether it was through his word, whether it was through a prophet, whether it was through a family member, whether it was from the pulpit, whether it was in a dream. God doesn't change his word. He honors his word. So are you living in these promises that God is giving you in his word? So while Jacob is on this mountain, his fight starts, because it doesn't matter how far you run. It doesn't matter where you hide. If there is any challenge or any situation that you need to face, believe you me, you will. Because you need to mature from there. So on this mountain, the angel appears to Jacob. What does Jacob do? He fights the angel. He argues, he wrestles with the angel. The reason for that is the only thing that Jacob knows how to do. He had to fight in the womb. He had to wrestle with his brother. He had to con his way out of everything and anything so that he can find a place in this earth. When it was time to take the blessing from the father, the mother even had to help the con man to get the blessing first, and the Esau was supposed to get the blessing, but she forgets that blessing that the birthright the father gave to Jacob, it was rightfully his because God gave the word while he was still in the womb. The order, divine connection, divine alignment. God said, that is where I want you to be. How many times do you get married to someone, a prophesied husband or prophesied wife? But because you are so used to fighting for attention, you don't even know how to embrace the beauty in marriage. How many of us got divorced and you get into a new relationship, but when you look at it, the only thing you remember as an ex-wife or ex-husband is all the negative things that was said to you in that marriage. You are useless, you are ugly, you this, you that, you that. So that even when this new person come and give you a bunch of flowers, you go into a little corner and, ooh, what did he do? Why am I getting flowers? Because you're not used to it. God says it's time for you to embrace the beauty that I'm giving you, because God is not a God of a second chance or another chance. God is a God of not a second or third chance, but another chance. Every day when we wake up, we have another chance to life. We have another chance to beauty. We have another chance to look at ourselves and say, I am beautiful. I am enough. I am worth it. I'm not going to be defined by the abuse that I went through as a child. I'm not going to be defined by the fact that they said I'm a cruiskop. I'm not going to be defined by the fact that I had to do all the dirty work. And the funny part, even with that, I thank God for children and grandchildren because they really tamed me down. Guys, I'm a perfectionist when it comes to cleaning. I don't like colorful bedding. I only like white bedding. From pillow to sheets to everything. And don't you dare mess up my bedding. I asked Emilio last night nicely, before you go to bed, wash your hands. And this morning I saw a curry stain on my duvet. Guess what? I cleaned it before I came to church. Because growing up, another story, you will hear a lot of stories while I'm doing this because I want you guys to get where I'm at. My late granny, may her soul rest in peace as well, she believed that no one can clean better than Carol. But that wasn't the truth because the others were lazy. And I didn't have an opportunity to say no. Because if I say no, in our days, we used to have stereo milk bottles, glass bottles of milk, not those paper boxes. So anything that she gets, whether it's that milk bottle, I will get it. She will throw me. And my grandmother, guys, I don't know what sport she played in the days, but she could aim. See, even if I'm standing by that door where Kurt is, if my grandmother take that bottle, it will hit, and I fall. If she aims for the leg, she gets the leg. If she aims for the head, she gets the head. I remember one day I walked to the gate and she was sitting on the stoop and she was busy packing the firewood for winter, and I don't know what I said. Guys, the next thing I just feel whoop, piece of wood against my head. She never missed the target. So on a Friday, we used to have, I know some of us can testify of this as well, we didn't have paving in our days. We had cement stoops like this, but red. So when they build the stoop, they paint it with red paint. And then after that, it is your duty to make sure that stoop remains red and shining. Doesn't matter winter, summer, autumn, winter, whatever season, it must shine. The same with the floors. We didn't have tiles those days. We used to have, I don't know what it's called now, but it is a tapete. So you have to wash it and polish it, and it's all on your knees. And we used to have the small little brushes that fits in your hand, and then you shine it with a brush. And after you shine it with a brush, all the old pantyhose comes into it, and then you shine it with a pantyhose. And when you look in that floor, you must see your face. When you're done, the windows was brass handles, so you polish the brass, and when it dry, you must shine it. So when my granny comes around the corner, the sun must reflect on that handles, and it must reflect in her eyes. That's how shiny it was be. So this day, I felt, why me? Why always Carol? So I've done a very sloppy job with the stoop and the floor. How I regret it, guys. My granny came. She looked at the stoop. She looked at the floor. She said, this is rubbish. Remember, I came from school. I have done homework and still done this work. Because tomorrow morning is washing. She put down her bag. She took off whatever. And I can hear this woman is busy outside by the tap, but not knowing what's coming from me. She went and mixed sand and made mud in a bucket of water, and I don't know what else was in that water. And she threw it on the whole floor in the sitting room and the stoop. And then she said, Max, kon jou gemors, meaning go clean your rubbish. And I was the laughing stock to my cousins because I had to do all this work while they're playing. I had to redo all that work again. And before I started, she said I must go make a cup of coffee and I must bring a chair. And she sat on the chair with a cup of coffee watching me while I'm cleaning. And every time I miss a spot, she will come and mess on it so I can redo that spot until it shines the way she wanted it to shine. It had such a bad impact on my life. Guys, if you clean my bathroom and my taps don't shine, the bathroom is not clean. There's Kaideen. I think Kaideen and Karen became perfectionists in that as well. That even when they're done with the shower and everything else, they go back to make sure there's not a water spot on the tap. Because that is how all of this impacted in my life. Like I said, I thank God for children and grandchildren because they help me to tone down. Hopefully soon I will tone down from the white bedding. Because Murad won't allow me to have white bedding. He's something else. Genesis 32, 24 to 30. Remember, Jacob is on the mountain and he wrestles, not even recognizing at that moment the angel is talking to him. Verse 24 to 30. Let's try this. Genesis 32. Guys, can you believe it? Genesis is the first book of the Bible and I can't find 32. Okay. This, I said 32 from 24 to 30. This left Jacob alone in the camp. A man came and wrestled with him until dawn began to break. How many of you know what it is to wake up 3 o'clock in the morning and God say, you're not sleeping, it's my time? This is what happened to Jacob. He had to spend time wrestling and not even know what he's wrestling with. When the man saw that he would not win the match, he touched Jacob's hip and wrenched it out of his socket. Or like you dislocate something, because I need to find you in a position where you are crippled. I need to find you in a position where you are broken. I need to find you in a position where I can talk to you. And the man said, let me go, for the dawn is breaking. But Jacob said, I will not let you go unless you bless me. Listen to the question. What is your name? The man asked. He replied, Jacob. Your name will no longer be Jacob, the man told him. From now on, you will be called Israel, because you have fought with God and with men and have won. Please tell me your name, Jacob said. Why do you want to know my name? The man replied. Then he blessed Jacob there. Jacob named the place Peniel, which means face of God. For he said, I have seen God face to face, yet my life has been spared. What is your name? Do you know your name? Who are you? What is the meaning of your name? Remember what I said, the name Jacob means con man. I don't know what's the meaning of your name. I don't know if you know your name. But God is telling me this morning, I'm changing your name to Israel. And Israel means prince. For the ladies, I'm changing your names this morning to princesses. To the guys, I'm changing your names this morning to the princes of this community. You will no longer be what people want you to be, what people think you are. You are being renamed and you are no longer attached to what happened in your past. You are no longer attached to what people said of you. You are no longer the abusive parent that they think you are. You are no longer that ugly girl with the crushed hair. You are no longer the person that your ex-husband said you are not good enough, because you are good enough. No more name shaming. No more name calling. No more crying. No more sitting in a little corner because you feel you don't deserve good things that is happening to you. Because God said, I will give you life and life in abundance. Who do you believe this morning? It is rightfully yours because the God of heaven said so. The God of heaven prophesied it years ago, even before you existed. He said, I knew you before you were formed in your mother's womb. How many times have you been here in front and you received a prophecy? The moment you leave the door, you forget what was prophesied. That prophecy that was given to you is rightfully yours. That promise that was given to you, it is rightfully yours. Step up. Step in. Walk with. Grab a hold of that prophecy this morning. Grab a hold of this word this morning and said, I am no longer a slave to thee. I'm a child of God. My name have changed. I'm no longer my circumstances. I'm no longer my background. I'm no longer the poor person that you know that walked barefoot to school. I'm so obsessed with shoes. I love good shoes, beautiful shoes. I don't like flat shoes, maybe because I'm short. I love my heels. But it's because I know what it is to have two sets of card books. Because my school shoes is so full of holes. And it's raining and it's cold. And I will walk with my late brother and in our school bags we will have a dry pair of card books and a dry pair of school socks. So that when we get to school, we are taking out the wet card books and the wet socks. And we replace it with dry socks and dry card books with our little piece of pantyhose in our school pocket, shirt pocket, and you shine those shoes and no one would even notice that there's holes in those shoes. So the first time I earned my salary working in Cape Town, I bought 5 pairs of shoes, guys. With my first salary, not food, not 5 pairs. So those years, the shoes that you guys are wearing now, that was our fashion. So that's why I'm not interested in fashion, right? So the one pair was the Mariah Carey shoes. It's the platform heel. So it's thick in front and the heel is a bit blockish. And then Kaideen is wearing something similar today, but it was way higher than what she's wearing. And a pair of margarita sandals, that big soles, a white pair, an orange pair, and a green pair. So Leska used to be colorful, you know. It's only now that I'm not that colorful. So my shoes came first. And I will then go and buy clothes that go with the shoes, but the shoes is there. Believe you when I tell you guys, I only wore one of those pair of shoes. All I wanted was to have plenty. All I wanted was to have a choice of choosing. Not having a pair of school shoes. The school shoes is your church shoes, your school shoes, your weekend shoes. That shoes you wore it with everything because you only have the one pair and they still have holes in it. So I had to start at a very young age to know how to do my heels. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened. I would probably have very ugly feet. Thank God that it recovered well. So everything had a ripple effect of where I am. I still love shoes. I have a shoe cupboard with full boxes, and then Karen come and do shopping on the ones I didn't wear for a while. And now Kadeen also starts to do shopping on the ones that she likes. And I have a wardrobe. In the wardrobe, there's also shoes. And then I have 2 boxes. In those boxes, it's also shoes. But it's a thing of, I don't want to struggle if I want to match shoes with what I'm wearing. I want to be spoiled, even if it's 3 pairs of black shoes. The children always ask me, Mom, you have so many black shoes. And my response to them is not the same style. It's not the same size of heel. It's not the same size of platform. It's not this, it's not that, but I will find an excuse to make sure that I have variety. Because I didn't have a choice growing up. Something else that I vowed was I will be the first person in my family to drive a car. I will be the first one in my family that finished matric. I will be the first one in my family that have a house. I will be the first one in my family that have a degree. I worked so hard to have it all. And like I say, I'm going back home and I'm still wondering if it's enough. I want to plead with all of us here this morning, whether you are parents or not. Even when you're angry, keep quiet. Don't call your children names in a rage of anger. Don't tell your kids you will amount to nothing. Don't tell your kids they are useless. I call Kadeen my bossy cop, but not because it's a nasty thing. I'm just so proud of how she's taking care of her hair. I look at Karen and I always tell Karen how beautiful she is and how proud I am, because something that Karen forgets sometimes, she's the most wonderful mother, sister and daughter that anyone could ask for. And yet she doubts it sometimes. But I told myself, I will remind my kids that they don't have a label. I will remind my sons that it's okay to cry, because it doesn't mean you're a sissy. When you cry as a boy, you also have emotions, you also have feelings, you also go through stuff. God didn't put you as a boy in a little corner and say you are immune. It is time for our boy children to know it's okay to cry. It's okay to come and say, Mommy, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know. And you as a mommy can pat your son on the back or play with his hair, whatever it is. But do your son think, if I come to mommy and tell mommy I'm struggling with 1, 2, 3, mommy will think I'm weak, or daddy will think I'm weak? Speak blessings over your kids. Speak good things over them. Teach them what it is. I love the saying, when you look in the mirror, who or what is reflecting back in that mirror? There is no third party, there is no mommy, there's no daddy, there's no sibling. It's only you. And if you can look at that person in the mirror and you tell yourself, well done, you have achieved so much. But if you look at that person in the mirror and you question your worth, I want to tell you today, you are responsible for that person in that mirror. If you're questioning your worth, fix it. Because there's only one of you. You are special. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Jacob comes down from the mountain, change person, change name. And guess who's the first person he meets coming down the mountain? Esau. Remember, this is the same person that he ran away from that wanted to kill him. Something else that this story teaches me of the twins is Cain and Abel. The devil will change his strategies. But believe you me, guys, every time when the devil tempts you with something, it's something that happened before. He is the con man because he's an imitator. Cain and Abel, what happened? The brother killed the other brother because of not getting the recognition. The same thing happens here, but luckily for Jacob, God preserved him because he had a purpose. God preserved all of you because you have a purpose. The enemy didn't kill you. The enemy couldn't get you to a point, Shena, where you are so broken that you can't get back up. The enemy looked at Shena today, and the enemy must be so scared because wherever you are going, it is so powerful. The question is, do you believe it? Do you believe the fact that when you look in the mirror, you are beautiful? Or do you still question yourself from your flaws? Do you believe that you are redeemed? Or you still look back and hold on to the past? So while standing there, alignment takes place, guys, in that moment. And Jacob strengthened himself in front of his brother. And he faced him head on. And he said, I am Israel. I am the prince. This birthright and this blessing is rightfully mine. And I'm done running. I want you to make that declaration today. It's rightfully yours. You are done running. Face that enemy. Face that past. Because God doesn't define you by your past. God says, yes, the past is there. Yes, it's a lesson that you must learn. But my blessings is not linked on what happened on your past. My blessings is linked on today, right now, right here, and where you're going. Today, I want to request you, you can't erase the past. Remember Jacob had a dislocated hip because of the wrestle? So I can imagine Esau standing there with full of himself while he's lumping. But be proud of your lump. Be proud of your scars. Because your lump, your scars is your testimony. Your lump and your scars is the battle you won. The lump and the scars is what you've overcame from your childhood. The lump and the scars that you are facing is to say, I am a warrior. I didn't give up. When the going got tough, I became tougher. When life hit me left, right, and center, and I didn't know if I'm coming or going, I got up, I dusted myself, and I went again for it. Your scars is your beauty. Your scars tells a story. Your scars make you who you are. The prince and the princess of the Most High. The time has come for you to realize that you are so strong. You are so powerful. You have a purpose in this life that only if you tap into it, God say it is rightfully yours. Are you ready to take it? Are you ready to let go of the pain from the past? Letitia, are you ready to be loved again and realize that whatever it is that was placed over your life, whatever that was said about you, whatever you've experienced, God say, You are mine. You deserve to be loved because you are so beautiful. Your scars, God said, those scars that people look at and judge you for it, God said, those scars are mine. You've won this battle. While saying that to Letitia, I'm saying it to myself. You all know what I went through last year. There was a time I told Kadeen, when I look at myself in the mirror, I feel like a monster. I call myself leopard skin. But I looked at the scars again after the Holy Spirit had to deal with me. And the word to Carol was, I will send someone in your life that will look at that scars and tell you, you are so brave. You made it. It won't be someone to that judge you for those scars. It won't be someone that look at that scars and run away because, guys, those scars are scary. It took a dip into my self-confidence so badly that I changed my whole wardrobe so that I can align how I'm wearing certain clothes and certain dresses and certain things. You will never see any skin showing on me because I want to cover my scars. God is giving you a new name this morning. Because that name that is giving you is rightfully yours. I want to call each and every person sitting here this morning. The scars that you've been through, the scars that you have, the fights. Uncle Basil, you went through so much in your life. The sad part about it is at your age, even now, you still question yourself so much. God says, son, give your heart back to me. I want to heal it. I want to restore your heart. I want to give you a new name. I want to give you a new beginning. I want to give you more purpose in life because whatever happens, yes, you might not take it back. You might not recover what you've lost. But God says, I have so much more in store for you. You are at the right place at the right time. There's times when you went to certain churches and certain congregations and you felt so left out because you didn't fit into their little portion of what they perceived you to be. You didn't fit into their requirements. God say you fit into his requirements. Whatever God wants you, God ticked all those boxes. You meet all those requirements. God said, I'm giving you new land. God said, I'm giving you a new beginning. God said, it's time for you to turn the page. I'm going to ask you to come to the altar. I'm not going to pray. I'm not going to say anything. I want you to come and lay that here on this altar. If it's time for you to cry, cry. If you want to talk to God, if you want to wrestle with God, whatever it is you feel you want to do at this moment, all I'm asking is don't leave with that baggage out by this door today. Claudia, God said, tap in. Claudia, don't always have something. You don't have to say something all the time, my sister. Because sometimes God feels that even when you talk, it's your way of defending who Claudia is. God said, I've defended you already. I've overcome. God said, do what I assigned and purpose for you. Use it. And all I'm asking from you is take the first step of obedience, and I will show you great and mighty things, because the doors that I've opened, it's opened already. You just have to step into those doors. Whatever happened in the past is in the past. You are not defined by the past. You are not defined by what happened. God said, I'm giving you a new start. Elman, you are heavy burdened this morning. God says, son, come. I know your struggles. I know the nights you sit with those books and you don't know if you're coming or going. You don't know whether I'm doing the right thing. Maybe I should find a job because this thing is just not working for me right now. God say, just align. Because whatever it is that I've put